My name is Sophie and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. I should really think of something to say before I start filming. It's going to be a relatively quiet one this week because I'm at home all week, not really going anywhere, not got anything planned. Oh, and then I'm going up to my mum's this weekend because it is Mother's Day in the UK, so I'm going up to see my mum. We've not got anything in particular planned. I think we're just gonna hang out for a bit. I've not seen her properly since the end of January, so it'll be nice to see her and have a catch up, and that's about it. I probably won't vlog much whilst I'm with her because I'm self-conscious of vlogging in front of other people and my mum definitely doesn't want to be on camera, so there's that. So in terms of doing things, it's going to be a quiet week. And in terms of reading, I'm hoping it's going to be a good reading week because this week we are reading on the Kindle. Next week, I believe next Tuesday, the new Scarlett St. Clair book comes out, which is A Touch of Chaos, which is the conclusion to the Hades and Persephone saga and the reason I've had this graphic in my downloads folder for about 4 months. No, I haven't. I made it in December, so it's not been that. Has it? That is nearly 4 months. I have 2 books to read in the whole Hades and Persephone saga before reading that conclusion, because there's the 3 books in the Persephone line and then the 3 books in the Hades line. You're meant to read them alternating, so you read Persephone 1, Hades 1, Persephone 2, Hades 2, Persephone 3, Hades 3, except I didn't. Hello. Shush, no one asked you. Oh, maybe they did. Oh, that's scary. I've just got a job interview. Oh well. But I didn't realise you're meant to read the series in that order until I was halfway through book 2 of Persephone, at which point I decided to commit to the Persephone trilogy and then read the Hades trilogy after. They're all on Kindle Unlimited. I read the first book, A Game of Fate, probably last August, and then then the remaining 2 books in the series went on my TBR for at least September and October before I gave up. Not gave up, I decided I was going to wait until the finale book comes out this year, but now's the time. I'm actually going to read the second book in the Hades trilogy, is A Game of Retribution, which I started last night. Granted, I only read 16 pages, but I made a start. And then the final book in the Hades trilogy is A Game of Gods, which then leads into A Touch of Chaos, which is the finale of it all. I also realised when I started reading A Game of Retribution last night that it has 465 pages, which is a lot of pages, and I rated the last book in the Hades trilogy 3 stars, so it might be a bit of a slog to get through them. But that's the plan for this week. A lot of Scarlett St. Clair reading. Welcome to another weekly vlog. My battery light has just started flashing and that is a sign for me to stop talking. I'm going to go read this email about a job interview properly and go freak out about it to my husband. That's just a quick chill bump. Today is Wednesday. I totally meant to film an update clip yesterday. I don't think I did. Can't get this shot straight either. Either way, I've had a really rough couple of days. I feel like I've been moaning about my mental health in every single one of these vlogs that I've made for the history of forever. And it's boring for me, so I imagine it must be boring to watch as well. But I just can't get a grip on anything at the moment. And I think even just describing it as I can't get a grip is so belittling to what's really going on. I met with my therapist today for the first time in over a month because she went away. I didn't think not speaking to her for so long would be so hard, and I don't think that is the reason things feel hard at the moment, but it's definitely not helped. The thing with anxiety, which I'm sure anyone who has it will understand, is that it can take over your entire body. I think the way that my therapist sometimes defines a panic attack is that it hijacks your nervous system, and at the moment my nervous system has been thoroughly hijacked. I feel like I'm in fight or flight 24/7 and it's exhausting. My chest always feels tight. I am really struggling to eat at the moment. Getting out of bed is really hard. It just makes doing the things that I normally would want to do even more challenging. It's making every aspect of my day-to-day life more challenging, and I know that sounds exaggerated and dramatic, but it's kind of true. I've been struggling with work since I got fired anyway. That's a long story that I haven't got into on this channel since it happened because I wasn't making videos at the time, but essentially I was in a really toxic job in 2022 and I got fired 2 weeks after my birthday, 5 weeks before I got married, and it was a really traumatic place to be. I got back into therapy the following new year and was quite swiftly diagnosed with PTSD, and it's been a year and a half, so my brain says that I should be okay by now, but that's not how anything works. But I would also like to be able to function again. I have an appointment next week with the mental health practitioner at my doctor's surgery, but it's kind of got to the point where it's beyond my control. I'm doing all the things that I can control that should help my mental health, and they're still not getting better. So I know I need more intervention, but having to fight for it is really exhausting because my GP surgery just don't want to help. They're so reluctant. Even making an appointment is hard. So it's just been a lot, and the pressure of not having a job and being able to afford rent and pay bills is a lot. I can't just have a couple of weeks to do nothing, and even if I did, I would then feel like I have to fill the time with something, whether it be making more content or, you know, doing tasks around the house, and I would still feel like I'm not doing enough, and that is tiring. So long story short, mental health is still bad. It's really hard to do anything at the moment, and I feel like I'm behind on everything from my to-do list to life. So that's fun. And it has had a bit of an impact on my reading because I'm desperately trying to read this Kindle book without using the audiobook, but I just don't have the energy to read before I fall asleep at night. I'm just really struggling to focus enough to actually read at the moment, and that's really frustrating as well because I really want and need to finish the last 2 books in this series before A Touch of Chaos comes out on the 12th. But c'est la vie, that's life and all that. I'm trying to take the steps needed to be better, to feel better, but right now I'm just feeling ill all the time. I've got loads of editing to catch up on. I was meant to upload a video last Saturday, didn't do it. Still haven't done that. I was meant to film and upload a video today, haven't done that. I was meant to bulk film a bunch of TikTok videos yesterday, haven't done that. So I'm just trying to get through one day at a time, and that's predominantly by ignoring my to-do list, which is really frustrating because I'm a Virgo, I'm a very to-do list oriented person. I like setting goals, I like making lists, but at the moment I'm just not doing anything on them, and it's frustrating because inwardly I have the motivation to do them, but I just can't actually make myself do it. I'm just going to film today's TikTok and try again tomorrow because I think that's all I can do right now. Hello, we're back in the library for this reading update because I've just been bulk filming all of my TikToks for the rest of the week. I've also filmed a couple of extra clips for a reading vlog from 2 weeks ago that I haven't finished editing and uploading yet. So now that I have those clips, hopefully I'll be able to finish and upload that tonight. And then I've also just filmed my March TBR video. It is, as I'm filming this, the 7th of March, so it's a little bit late, but better late than never, I guess. I think I finally found my mojo a little bit today. The last few weeks I feel like all I've talked about is my mental health, but it has been severe, for want of a better word. It has been severe enough that it's the only thing I can really comprehend talking about, and it has been having a huge impact on my life. So I want to talk about my mental health honestly, is the crux of it. I've done that. Feeling a bit close, let's just, there we go, that's a bit better. Less of my face in the frame. Yeah, these past few weeks have been really challenging, and there's kind of a few things I've had in my diary that I've kind of mentally seen as what will be the turning point. So yesterday I had my first therapy appointment in over a month, because my therapist went on holiday, which is absolutely fine. Not a criticism of her or her wanting to take time off at all. I love my therapist, hence why I stuck with it, even though she took a month off. That was one of the turning points. But then also, I think I've already mentioned, I do have a doctor's appointment next week where I'm hoping they'll start to actually take me seriously and actually help me. So one thing I need to do is actually, I have a list of things that I want to talk about with the doctor, because something, I don't know if it's an autism thing or an anxiety thing or just a me thing, but I get quite overwhelmed when I actually get into these appointments. So having what I want to say written down, I'll have it open on my phone, is really useful to make sure that I don't come away having missed like the main thing I wanted out of that appointment. The last time I spoke to this mental health practitioner, it was a phone appointment, so I had my notes up on my computer while I was on the phone with him, but I find phone conversations really difficult. This appointment next week is going to be in person, which hopefully will mean it should be a little bit easier. And like I said, I'm going to have this list, so I need to add to my list with some of the things that my therapist and I spoke about yesterday. But I'm hoping that that will be the turning point in my mental health, because it has been, realistically, it's been a year and a half of having really difficult to manage mental health symptoms and anxiety symptoms, and I'm really ready to put the work in to change things. I've done all the things that are in my control, and now I need further help from a professional to help with the things that I can't control. And that's the last I'm going to talk about that. I may or may not have mentioned that the job screening I had last week, I've now been invited for a job interview next week. I think I was filming when the email came through, but I don't think I spoke about it properly. So I'll have a little task to do when I go in to the office next week, and then I'll have the interview. I think it's going to take just over an hour, and I'm really nervous about it, to be honest. I got that email, and then that night I just barely slept because I think my body was so physically anxious about it, even though my brain is trying to be realistic and, you know, even be a little bit excited, because this could be a big change and a big step in the right direction for me. But subconsciously my body absolutely went into fight or flight, and yeah, and that's been a lot of the problem, is that my body and the symptoms I'm feeling in my body don't actually align with what I'm feeling in my conscious brain. But that's happening on Monday next week, so lots of things are starting to happen. Consequently, this reading vlog hasn't had a lot of reading in it. I think I've already mentioned in an earlier clip that I'm really struggling to stay awake to read enough. Not read enough, that makes it sound like I have to reach a certain quota of reading, and that's absolutely not the case. But I'm falling asleep when I would like to actually be reading more than I am. But sleeping is also good, so at least there's that. I think I'm currently about 60 pages in to A Game of Retribution by Scarlett St. Clair, and the new book comes out in 5 days, and I've got the rest of this book, the whole of the third book in the trilogy, to read before the new book arrives, and I don't think I'm going to manage it, but I'm going to try my best. I might try listening to the audiobook, because I really wanted this to be like, right, I need to prove to myself that I can still read books without audiobook support, but apparently I can't. It just sends me to sleep. I don't really have much of a reading update, especially with this Hades side of the trilogy, because I've read all of it from Persephone's perspective, and like I said, I think these would make really good novellas to go in between the Persephone books to kind of show what Hades is doing when he's not with Persephone. But otherwise it's just little bits of actually interesting plot of what Hades was doing when Persephone wasn't around, but then what feels like really repetitive scenes of all the things that we've experienced from Persephone's perspective, because they're both written in third person is the other thing worth noting. Like, they're not super integral first person stories, so having two sets of trilogies that are both told in third person but with different focal points it does just feel quite repetitive. So I don't know if maybe I'd have enjoyed this more if I'd read it in the proper reading order. Yeah, I just need to power through it, I think. But this is 465 pages. I really don't know what Hades is going to get up to that deserves that much page time, but so far not really seeing the point of the series. But I do want to finish them before the new one comes out, or at least I want to read them before I read the new one, even if I don't read the new one as soon as it's released. That's everything I wanted to talk about. Cool. So completely as predicted, I went home for the weekend, saw my mum, spent some time with her. It was Mother's Day here in the UK, and I filmed precisely none of it. I think the only clip I've really got was of this Sunday dinner that we had on Sunday, and even then I only filmed about 2 seconds of it because I used that clip for my 1 second everyday video. All in all, I had a lovely weekend. Friday morning I had a session with my PT, which was good because it holds me accountable and means I actually go to the gym, though I am doing quite well with going to the gym at the moment, I will say. Then I, came back, had a shower, packed, ready to go, and then spootled on over, did the 2-hour drive to my mum's house, which was nice because I got a solid 2 hours of audiobook listening time in, which is good because I've officially been listening to The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss for over 2 months, but I've now I think I've hit the 60% mark. Yeah, now having come back, I'm on exactly 60%, so we've reached the halfway, we're on our way towards the end. And the 48-hour sequel, but that's not the point. Yeah, so drove up to mum, then we went over to my dad's, got some Chinese takeaway. It was really nice. Friday night. Then Sunday I saw one of my uncles, and then me and mum just went for a little mooch. We went and looked around all the charity shops in my hometown. We went over to a different town that has a really good cake shop and got some very yummy cake. Came home, just mooched, watched a lot of Gogglebox, just kind of sat on the sofa, didn't do a whole lot. It was lovely. Then on Sunday I helped her build some flat pack furniture, but she hadn't quite measured the space right, so it didn't even fit where she wanted it to go. But then we went out for a nice Mother's Day lunch, had a little Sunday roast. I'll show this clip again because I might as well make the most of this 2-second clip. And yeah, then we came home, I kind of gathered up all my bits. We chatted for a bit longer, and then I did another 2-hour drive home, and they were both relatively easy drives, so that's always a good thing. And like I said, I got loads of my audiobook listened to, which was very motivating. But as per, I've done the usual thing of ending the vlog on the following Monday rather than actually filming it on the Sunday. So in terms of reading updates, like I said, I read loads of my audiobook, really pleased to have made a bit more of a solid dent in that. In terms of my physical read, I'm working through A Game of Retribution by Scarlett St. Clair. My whole plan was to have both A Game of Retribution and A Game of Gods read by tomorrow for me, which is the day that the next book in the next and the last book in the series comes out, A Touch of Chaos. Except these books are way longer than I thought they would be, and I'm really trying to prove to myself that I don't need an audiobook to read a physical book. But my reading stats, I'm about to film a TikTok with my how much I read in a week, and my reading stats for last week, I think on my most successful day I read 43 pages, but on most other days I read less than 10 because I was just so tired. So it's going to be a little while before I get around to A Touch of Chaos, but yeah, I might just cave and listen to the audiobook on Spotify because I feel like I'm really not making a dent. I feel like I'm really not making any progress with this book, and it's making me want to read it even less, which is definitely not helping. So I didn't finish any books this week, but I did listen to approximately 5 hours of my audiobook and read maybe 100 pages. So there's that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time for another bookish video. Bye!